Hi, everybody. Welcome to the UX group conversation. Glad you're here. So if you look in the agenda, the slide deck is linked. And I will also share my screen. And I will look to see if there are any questions. I don't see any yet.
Christy, I'll ask you a question. What are you most excited about for the future of the UX department?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're getting to work on such interesting things. I love that we are getting to partner with product management in such strong ways to help drive the strategy of the product through customer research and also just kind of getting ahead so that we feel more confident about the things that we're releasing. It's something of a shift for us in how we work. But I know it's how the team wants to work, and it's a really exciting opportunity for us. And if y'all look at, let's see, which slide is it? Slide number 6 about experience baselines and recommendations. That is one effort towards that. So I'm really excited by that. I'm going to turn around now. I'll ask Sarah. From a research perspective, what are you most excited about?
I think that the most exciting thing for me recently has been adding more researchers to the team, and that's been fantastic. I'm really pleased that Tally and Laurie are on board. I'm excited about what that means, like we can do moving forwards. So one of the things that we're kind of looking into doing at the moment is creating training videos and templates for people across GitLab to use. And so we're researchers, but we want other people to be able to do research as well. So we're starting with a series of videos for doing user interviews. So these are primarily aimed at product managers and designers at GitLab. But if you perhaps work in marketing and you feel like you want to talk to some users, then by all means, come and have a look at the templates and stuff that we've got. And feel free to kind of go ahead and speak with users. I think that's really exciting that more people will be doing user research.
Yeah, I'm excited by that too. Normally we're just swimming in questions. This is unusual. Well, then I'll talk about the UI beautification effort. So this was something that's been really exciting for us that we got to do over the past month. This is something that has been a huge focus for our leadership, Sid in particular. As I joined GitLab back in February, this was something that was very much on the forefront of his mind, is how do we refine our UI, both from an aesthetic perspective and then also from a usability perspective. And so last month, 3 product designers, Annabelle, Jarek, and Marcel, were able to do a spike on this. It lasted about 3 weeks, and in that 3-week period, they were able to close 43 issues that were related to UI beautification. So it was an amazing effort from them. It also meant that their teams who they worked with had to pick up the slack. So a big thank you to those people. I mean, this was a really comprehensive effort. And if anyone is interested, you can see in that blog article some examples of things that got closed out, some of the more interesting things. And then it also talks about where we're going next with that.
Hi, could you please share the link to this deck? I don't see it in the group conversation minutes.
It's in there. If you look at the 7.5 UX group conversation.
It's not on the first page. I was confused as well when I joined.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, so I have a question on, in general, our notion is to have a product that works across different personas, and so we have a lot of different pieces of different functionality across different personas and different stages. And we see like our major competitor, Microsoft, doing what a lot of our competitors do, which is, oh, we have all these pieces, they're just in different apps, we'll just put them in a menu. And that obviously loses something in our edge, against something like that, the behemoth of Microsoft that has like all functionality just in different places, is the fluidity and the how it all ties together. What do we think about, and how are we making sure that as we add capabilities that it's not that there's a clean story across all of it, across the personas, across the different functionalities, as opposed to just adding new screens and different, on a menu?
Sorry, my internet went down for a couple of minutes, so I was briefly gone. But I think what I caught the end of that question, which I think was around, as we're adding additional functionality to the product, additional features to the product, how do we make sure that it's a connected and seamless experience? Is that right?
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Yeah. So it's not an easy problem to solve, especially when you think about how we work, which, by the way, is not the wrong way to work. It just adds additional challenges as we work in stage groups, which are kind of siloed down to, pretty narrow scopes of focus, but workflows may go across those stage groups. So two things that I think will help with this, and I'd love to have my other UX managers chime in on this, but I think customer research is going to be a huge part of this. So understanding how customers want to traverse the product, how they might move from one workflow into another, and make that as simple as possible. And then also going back to that experience baselines effort is also focused on that. So it's focused on understanding the most critical workflows that are originating in stage groups, but then seeing how those workflows play out, not just across that stage group necessarily, but across the product in general. So those are some of the things that we're doing. Sarah, I don't know if you'd like to chime in, or any of my other managers would like to chime in.
Yeah, we're actually doing some research. Catherine is heading up the research for the navigation at the moment. And one of the things that we've kind of started doing is stakeholder interviews internally to begin with, because we know that the navigation is actually the most researched area of GitLab. It's had a lot of different studies on it, and we've iterated a little bit over the years, but we're now at a place where we can't keep putting things into the sidebar, and we're constantly getting a lot of questions about, we've created this new feature, should it go under settings, should it go in the sidebar, should we have a global notification icon for it? There's so many different things you can do with the navigation at the moment, but the problem is there's not space for everything. And we need to design a navigation that works, for the majority of our users and different personas. And I think just to add to that, it's like we don't want to just keep chipping away at the navigation research as well. We don't want to do these kind of small studies that just temporarily tell us where to place something. We want to do something where we take it back to the basics. We look at it holistically and work out what features need to be where for the like all our personas and what works best. It needs a big strategic research effort.
That was a great question and a great answer from Sarah. What else? Well, I'll focus on the tech writing slide then for a moment. And Mike Lewis, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Mike, do you want to just chat briefly? Because there's some really interesting stuff that you have on here.
Sure. Yeah, I'll walk through what we have here and answer any questions. So a couple highlights just to pull out here. First, a style audit of the docs. We had recently instituted a number of new styles or clarified styles in our style guide around ensuring the docs remain or ensuring we have a single source of truth for all the content. So essentially, avoiding duplication and linking out rather than repeating information on another page, ensuring that when you do get to a page, that that's the source of the information you're looking for by clarifying introductions. We have a lot of engineers and others who've worked on our docs over time. So to go back occasionally and do an audit, and that audit can be for various things, and we can do other kinds of audits. But in this case, we picked a series of what we thought were important styles, and we did a first phase. We're in a second phase now. We're going to continue throughout the docs. But yeah, as of a few weeks ago, we completed this first phase, and we resolved some of those issues there, including one of our standards is to have all relevant information about the feature, and that includes troubleshooting information or workarounds, things that some folks may wonder, should I include this in docs or not? Is this too much of a niche workaround? Is it too much of an exception? So the answer from our style standpoint is yes, include it there, because that's where folks are looking for that feature, including adding a troubleshooting section. We don't want to have a whole bunch of empty troubleshooting sections. So where we don't yet have troubleshooting content, we have now added a placeholder for that information, so that especially support, who we've been working with to make sure that support is adding more content, especially they can now go add troubleshooting information to each doc page. We can think in the future about whether we want to aggregate that in some way and make it visible at the top level of a section, what the various troubleshooting items are within that section. But for now, storing that actual content within the most relevant page really gives users the best chance of finding the information they need without actually needing to create an issue or contact support. So that was some of what we've done. There's an Epic link there for details. Happy to answer questions about that one. And the other one we chose to highlight here is just around the alignment of the docs across code bases in line with GitLab's broader single code base effort. So we just completed that. The last and one of the more challenging parts of the docs were the API. So that's now condensed, where when there are separate responses to the API or separate fields, depending on whether you're in CE or EE, you now have a single doc page that explains all of that. So across our docs, we handle all tiers of GitLab on any given doc page with labeling of what is exclusive to a certain tier or tier range. So that's now complete, and we have a safeguard in place through the pipeline to make sure that additional changes aren't introduced only into EE as we used to do, to make it so that you can simply merge content in CE. It gets auto merged as usual to EE, and you can't actually merge content exclusively into EE. So this parity should remain, and it'll enable the broader effort.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And it's actually a good lead in to, I'll just go ahead and hop on to our hello slide here, because we've welcomed some new folks to the UX team. And Marcel was a huge contributor, if maybe even the contributor to that alignment of CE and EE docs. He's been a GitLab contributor for quite a while, and we're super thrilled to have him on the team. And we've also got Jackie Bauer, who is new UX manager for enablement and growth. Lori Whitaker, who's a new senior UX researcher. So you heard Sarah talk about her team growing, and we're really excited to have Lori. And then also Jeremy Elder is our new senior visual designer. I mentioned this in our last group conversation. Jeremy is really picking up that UI beautification effort, and he's already jumped in, and he's doing some amazing things. So we're excited to have these folks on our team. I don't see any more questions. Actually, I'll jump to this slide, which is around the design system push. And I'm hoping maybe Tori is available to chat about this one.
Yeah, I'm here. So this slide shows the amount of components that we've completed so far in Q2 of fiscal year 20. So we've closed out 2, and we have 6 that are really close to being closed. And then there's another 14 that have been started. And the way that this is working currently is that stage groups are responsible for completing a component within our design system. So it'll be introduced into GitLab UI, and then the docs will be shown within Pajamas. So I showed here the merge requests over this past quarter so far. So you can see an upward trend in the Pajamas design system, except last week when Pedro and I were both on vacation, so we weren't merging merge requests. But there's also a spike in GitLab UI merge requests that week too. So you can see that this quarter a lot more work is being done in the Pajamas components, which is great. And the goal was to close out around 32 to 36, I forget the exact number, components this month or this quarter. And it looks like about 22 have been in progress, and we're on a good track there. So it's exciting to see.
Yeah, Pajamas is a hugely exciting project for the UX team in terms of raising the quality of the product because of consistency. Having single source of truth components is going to make such a big difference in driving consistency throughout our UI. And also in terms of productivity, both for designers and for front-end engineers. It's just when we can get through this, it'll be a huge win for a lot of people. Any other questions? I think we're all still coming off that 4th of July holiday. All right, well, we'll go ahead and end early then. Thank you for those who were here. If you have any other questions that you think of after the fact, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.